Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Coco Nomad channel. I have been away for a while on vacation and taking a bit of a break, but now I am back to make more videos, more content, and I'm starting back with the What I'm Working On series, which is just a recap of the work that I've done over the last 2 weeks. Now, it's been more than 2 weeks this time because I've been away for a bit, and so there's been a bit of a break, and I'll just dive right in. If you're used to this, you know how this format goes. We're just going to review what went well, and we'll start going over some of the other things as well. So let's dive in. The thing that went well was actually the break. I got an opportunity to go home to Atlanta, visit family and friends, and it was amazing. It was 2 weeks. It was actually probably one of the better trips in the last few years. They've been getting better. It's like a few years ago, I was not going home a lot, wasn't really enjoying it. But I really did miss family and friends. And then this last few trips have gotten really good. I think I'm doing a better job of allocating time and not trying to see everybody. I think that was the problem before is I was driving around. I was trying to sort of get to everyone across 3 or 4 states. And I was always tired, just worn out. And now I've decided that when I make these trips home, they're a lot more focused, a lot more purposeful. And I do have to admit, one of the big highlights that made this trip and the last trip better is my nephew Milo. Like just seeing him and spending time with him. He's almost walking, and I'm super excited about it. I was hoping he'd take a few steps while I was there. He's standing, but didn't quite get there. But got a lot of good quality time with him and my sister and my aunties and my cousins and I, which is great. It's one of the highlights for me is hanging out with my cousins because those are my brothers, really. And so it was really good to do that. And then to see my friends, to spend some quality time with them, have some good conversations and catch up. So that was really good. And then the second thing that went really well was actually coming back here. I've been hearing so much about people having trouble getting longer term stays and their visas coming back. Now, I don't typically spend the full 180 days in Mexico because I'm traveling around quite a bit. But I was just curious about, how many I would get. And ironically, because I didn't have any plans to be here more than about 60 days before I move on to the next location, I told that to the immigration agent when I was asked. And lo and behold, I still got 150, 180 days. Again, no problem. So I think it's probably because of my pattern. You can probably see that I don't typically stay that long. I'm usually here for a few months, 2 to 3 months normally, and then I move on and go to visit some other places because it's just what I like to do. Um, I don't know if I'd count this as a went well or not, but you can see that I have these glasses on. My sister gave me these when I was home. I've noticed that like I'm having a lot more trouble because I spend so much time on my computers, on the screens, and then on my mobile phones that things are is like getting harder and harder for me to read some of the smaller print. So she gave me these reading glasses, and this is the first time in my life, other than as a joke, or my Dwayne Waynes that I wore when I was in college, um, that I've ever had a pair of glasses on, and so it's just like really weird, but get used to it. So I put this kind of in the middle because it's not a went well or didn't go well, but it definitely is helping when I'm on the screens. Now let's move into what didn't go well. And for what didn't go well, it's really just the investment side. And I will be posting a video about the investment report for the previous month. And I really took it on the chin. Market and a couple of my holdings. Market as a whole, of course, took a bit of a dive this past month and really felt it. So it actually shows up as a result of the investing, not so much in the November report, but definitely in the December report, which won't come out until January. But learned some lessons about the type of investing I'm doing. And if you follow that series, you know what I'm talking about, like a very simple and very straightforward series of investments that I do, a particular type. And so just have to experience the ups and downs. Now, there's a lot of positives that come out of there, some things that don't really change, but the underlying values of the stocks definitely took a dive. And so that was a bit of an adjustment for me in the short term. In the long term, I don't think it'll really matter at all. In fact, I'm pretty sure that by the spring, things will be looking incredibly good. We'll see, or well. So let's move on to the next section, which is what I've learned. One of the things I've learned is that my tastes in Airbnbs are changing. I'm in a studio right now. If you look behind me, I've got like a bit of a loft here. There's like another space above me, above the bed area, the sleeping area, and the kitchen. And I'm starting to like want a bigger place, more space, clear separation of my work and living space and sleeping space. to the point that I rented a 2 bedroom the last time I was traveling here in the city. And part of that was for visitors, but the other part is I just like having the additional space and didn't even necessarily need the second bedroom, but the larger living area and dining area was very nice. That I have a separate working space and actually had options, and I had a relaxing space where I could sit in the chaise lounge, play guitar, and it worked really well. So I think in the future I'm going to start just putting that in my taste is like having some particulars that I like to have in terms of like what's in the kitchen and having access to a washer and dryer, and in addition to the high-speed internet, which is a definite must because of the nature of my work. Um, but it's just interesting that it's changed. Whereas before it's like, oh, just give me a bed, simple room, don't need much, don't really care. I'm starting to care a lot. So after this many years of traveling, it's just interesting to see that that's happening. So that's the biggest lesson. And then moving into what still puzzles me or scares me. I'm not really scared, but I'm really puzzled about my next move. I have really been experiencing a lot of analysis paralysis and having a difficulty making a choice because I do have a lot of options right now. Some places around the world have been opening up and I would like to revisit. I have friends in some other places I'd like to see. I have some new places I'd like to explore, but trying to balance that with work and making sure that I have the right environment and I'm still sort of having a comfort level in terms of the things that I want to have in a home environment. It's really challenging right now. I'm sort of trying to fight this balance of I have community here and have friends in certain places where I really feel like I can just touch down and immediately just get into a groove. And then, but I want to explore some newer places as well. And that takes time. So it takes a bit of time to get used to that, get time to make new friends, get a new routine. And then when you throw the work projects on top of that, it makes it a little difficult. And I recognize that importance on my well-being and my productivity. So that's where the struggle is. It's like, is it time to make that move or should I just wait a bit? And I'll go into that in a second. So one of the things that's affecting that. And that's when I move on to what's next. And what's next is basically in deciding on the next move, I'm adding another project to my workload. It's related to investing. I started this whole investing journey in September, and I've been learning about options trading. And I haven't found a tool that does provides me the kind of information that I want to have, like being able to look and make decisions based on the portfolio and the investments and the trades that I'm making. And so I just decided I'd build it. And so that's what I've been working on. It started about a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago. I started like sort of specking it out and I've started coding it. And now I've got like still don't have the MVP yet, but it'll probably be finished by the end of the month. I'll have like a basic version that will need some UI and UX love. So it won't be coming out in the early part of the new year, but I'll definitely get some users and see what their opinions are of what I have. But I'm really fleshing out the idea and it's sort of taking a lot of these trading journals to the next level. There's lots of them out there. I've used and tried a few of them, but I just found some information lacking. So I just decided, well, I've got the skill of building software, and I also wanted to explore building a new app and building a cross-platform app, one that would run on my Mac as well as my phone and my watch. So I've just decided to take that on as a challenge. So I'm not really stressing about it in terms of having like a hard delivery date, but I am putting time into it because it's something that I actually need. And I find a lot of times I do have apps, even if I never release them, I'll make an MVP that I just use. I have a boxing training app that I've been using for well over a year and a half, and I've never released it, but I do use it when I do my own training at home or when I go out to the park and do training. And that probably needs some love and probably should be released at some point. But this one is, I think, probably would help a lot more people in the space because I see a lot of people watching these videos on trading, not just my channel, of course, but other channels as well. So, and it's very, very valuable to me. So I'm just in that first phase. And it's the exciting phase. If you're a developer, you ever create or a creator of any kind, you know, like you first get an idea for a story, you first get an idea for an app or some project, something that you want to paint or draw. It's like you're super excited. So that's where I am right now in the excitement phase. We'll see how this goes. So that concludes this retrospective. As always, please hit the like button. If you want to follow along with this channel, hit the subscribe and the notification bell and you'll be notified as well. I Absolutely appreciate all the support that I get. And I'm looking forward to creating some more videos now that I'm here in the city and I'm sort of getting settled. And look forward to hearing from anyone. If you have any comments, suggestions for topics, or questions that you have about travel or investing, or just working remotely, please hit me up. As always, I hope you have an absolutely amazing day, and I will talk to you next time. Cheers.